Good afternoon, good evening. So I was enjoying John's dancing backstage. I was watching it. I was like, he's loving this. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to the Arsenal Newcastle. Canners has just dropped out. Big up to GunnerKing. Canners has dropped out. Hopefully he'll be back in. He's only 3 till 4, but we have got a special guest. We normally do a preview lounge for a preview, we did one for the Arsenal Wolves, but I thought we'd invite a Newcastle fan today, and no other than John Sinclair. How are you, mate?
Good afternoon, guys. Afternoon in the chat as well. Big up to you guys. Absolutely fantastic. Just got back from Newcastle, and it's been fantastic. And thank you so much for having us on. I don't mind on Arsenal channels as well, but great guys and great support. And big up.
Oh, thank you very much, mate. I'm to be honest, I'm very, very thankful that you said yes to my invite. I was like, yes, I'm well chuffed for that. Canners, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to one and all. I'm top of the tree right now, and I'm good. I'm all good.
Good. GunnerKing, how are you, mate?
Yeah. It's been a great weekend of football for Arsenal. With our result at Brighton, obviously Leeds a lot, obviously grinding Newcastle to a bit of a halt, and Everton doing the same with Man City, just to give us that bit of breathing space. And always a bit of a bonus when Chelsea and Tottenham drop the ball at the same time as well. So it's been a good start to the new year, I'd say, for Arsenal so far this season.
Yeah. It has. And obviously, tomorrow we have got a big game. We have to say it's a big game. I know previous seasons, us Arsenal against Newcastle may not necessarily be called a big game. This is a big game. Newcastle are third, we're first. Newcastle are playing brilliant football, and no disrespect to Newcastle, with not a fully strength, proper world-class players yet. And they're still challenging. They're impressing everybody this season, manager included. And I have to say the manager, because without Eddie Howe, I don't think you may be there, but I think he's a big part of why Newcastle are there. Now, obviously, we've talked about Newcastle. So, John, what this season, were you expecting this season from Newcastle this soon?
I'll be honest with you, yes, I don't, because look, at the end of the day, before the start of the season, right? It's a new project. It's a new side, whatever sort of thing. I wouldn't be happy taking someone like 8th, 9th position and winning a cup or fighting for the cup, like the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. And look, at the end of the day, I did expect us to be up there. But what Eddie Howe has done at that club is absolutely incredible. You realise he's coming. He's been away from football for a year, right? When he was signed for Bournemouth, right, and he went to watch Atletico Madrid, how the way Diego Simeone's played, how to defend properly, this and that and t'other. He comes back to the Premier League in Newcastle. When he's announced, I think, okay, that's an interesting choice by the new owners. I'm going to back this guy. Do you know what I mean? People are saying, we didn't want him because he got Bournemouth relegated. He cannot defend. He cannot coach defense. But let me tell you something, right? Newcastle have got the best defense in the league. You've already conceded 11 goals this season. He fixed the defense. He knew exactly what was done. The back four under Steve Bruce was absolutely shocking. It really, really was. Jamal Lascelles, not good enough, yeah? And Fabian Schär, I like him, but at the end of the day, it's been regressed by the manager and by Lascelles, yeah? Eddie Howe's come in and he fixed the defense, brought in Kieran Trippier, a right back. He brought in Dan Burn, centre back, come left back as well. He changed Fabian Schär's career. He's playing better than ever. Right? In the summer, bought Sven Botman. Well, for me, 35 million quid. That has to be one of the best buys of the season. Right? Everyone's picking up William Saliba. Right? But this guy needs some special praise because he knows how to defend. He's a raw source to defend. He's an 8, 9 out of 10 every single week. Let's be honest about that. And the midfield, Bruno Guimaraes. Sorry, guys.
we should have had him. We should have. But happy that you got it.
Thank you. No, end of the day, right? Listen. I'm sorry, but we got him. It took about a year trying to get this guy. It took him a day to get this guy. And I tell you what, you must be kicking yourselves because this guy, in my opinion, is the best midfielder in the country. You know, I didn't think he was that good on Saturday. I can't lie, but you can have bad games every now and again. And then it goes by Chris Wood. I thought, my God, Chris Wood for 25 million quid. I know he choked me cornflakes when we paid all that money for this guy. People say no, we can Burnley, but I tell you something now, right? He's come here to do a job, to hold the ball up, bring people to play. Cool, that's fine. And Nick Pope, another great signing in goal, fantastic. And we got Matt Target on a permanent signing from he came on loan, but we still need a midfielder. We still need another striker if we can. We still definitely need cover on the left-hand side. Even ASM's not in the first. I say Maxim, by the way, but of course ASM for sure. He's not on the team. He's not in the first team because he has to fight for his place. Joe Linton's doing so well. And talking of Joe Linton, that guy
He's class.
He has class. And anyhow, he's turned his career. You know what? I'll play him in midfield. And he has excelled. The guy's excelled. I fully expect him to play in the Copa America in 18 months' time. If he doesn't get a place for that, then I'm sorry. I don't think he ever in the Brazilian national team again. I don't think he will. Miggy Almiron, right? I know you got to come in, but Miggy Almiron, will say about Miggy. Where has this player been? Where has this player been? He's coming up 29-year-old. That guy is brilliant. And he is, oh man, what can I say, guys? I mean, 9 goals this season. He's got some cracking goals, by the way. Everton at home. He's got a cracker against Leicester as well, 1-2. The goal against Villa was the best. Curling shot at the top corner. Where has this player been? My God, I tell you what, he's my player of the season by a quality mile, this guy. And Bruno's a close setting. But what a season, guys. What a season. And all these people, now, look at the fixtures there. Newcastle, 3 points. Here we go. Man United can beat us. Man City can beat us. We should not have lost to Liverpool. We've beaten Spurs, Chelsea. We haven't lost one game this season, right? And I tell you something, guys, my God. All I can say to you, Bobby, what a season. What a season. Long may it continue.
Exactly. So what, before we get into Canners and GunnerKing's response to all that, is what are your expectations for tomorrow? John?
Sorry.
Yeah.
My expectation is, I mean, I thought Kieran Trippier was going to be suspended for this game, by the way, because he picked up 5 bookings this season. And I thought when he got put on Saturday, I thought that's him out of the Arsenal game. Then I found out that the boogie he had against Bournemouth didn't count because that's a cup game. So
yeah, it's the new rules this season. So yeah,
it's ridiculous. I'll tell you what, if he got 5 bookings and Trippier missed that game, I said that's his fault because that's a daft booking. He knew he's going to get his 1 booking away and Fabian share as well. But yeah, he's playing, unfortunately, guys. But I just hope just carry on, just score goals. And I tell you what, take our chances, right? Take our chances. Don't miss them. Don't go and blaze over the bar like you did on Saturday. And then we'll probably get something out of the game. I'm not going to say we're going to win the game, but we could get something out of the game. We score first, then I think Arsenal could be under real pressure to come back because Arsenal's having a fantastic season, by the way. I've been very impressed with Arsenal this season. I really have. I mean, Odegaard, what a player him, man. Massive fan of him, man. But I always have been. I think he's a damn good player. I mean, Saka, doing Saka things. Martinelli, I would love to have him in Newcastle, by the way. You know, he's having a fantastic season. And Nketiah, right? I mean, I know people are split with this guy, but you need to give him a couple of years. Give him time. He'll come good. Just give him time. You know what I mean? I don't want to call him Nketiah now. I would call him Nketiah. And I think he'll be good. He'll come good. But Saliba, what a defender him.
Yeah. He had a bit of a bad game at the weekend, but
yeah,
it's a learning curve.
I hope he does it again. Like, I hope he does. He plays that poorly on Tuesday, though.
Canners, what are you expecting for tomorrow, mate?
A tough game, first and foremost. Absolutely, it's going to be a heck of a tough game, and I think the first goal will be all important. If we get it, I think it will settle us down, and but if Newcastle get it, as John has stated, their defence, they know how to defend. And Botman, I have been super impressed with him. He's a giant of a guy. He's strong, he's powerful, he's quick. dare I say it, bit of in the Saliba mould. Honestly, I do expect us to win because we're at home. I'm going with that. I mean, had it been at St James's, I would have said I'd be happy with a point. We need to win. We need to be picking up 3 points when we're at home. So I'm not saying that we're going to win, but I expect us to win. One thing I'm glad actually that Wood is playing up front rather than Wilson or Isaac. I'll tell you that now. Yeah, that for us, I think I think not having Wilson or Isaac is a little bit of a hamstring for you guys, because I think it was last year when we beat you 2-0. Wilson was a problem against us, and even at St James's. But I think this is a game I think we should be. If not, I'll be wondering why. But we should be up for this, because you lot killed us for that Champions League spot last year. It was that game that killed us.
I'm sorry.
So, listen. I think, and do you know what I think? Two things. What happened in that game, during that game? One was obviously you killed our European Champions League hopes, and two, I think then that was the belief of your players to say, do you know what? We can actually beat these top 6 teams. Do you know what I mean? And we can actually now stake our claim to be in that top 6 come next season with a couple of new players. And I think that's given you lot a lot of belief. That game did. It's going to be a tough game, man. I'm going, and it would be good to see Newcastle, up close and personal. I expect a very tough physical game, and it would be good to see Saka against Trippier, actually. Would it be? No, sorry, it'd be Martinelli against Trippier, won't it? Or
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. It's going to. We need to be pushing Trippier back as much as possible. But I can't wait for this game. Actually, it's going to be such a good game. It's a. Whenever we've been asked a question in terms of tests, and this is the big. Well, Brighton was the beginning of the test. This is another part of this test now, that we have a series of games coming up, and let's hope we've got the answers to the questions.
Yeah. I think our back four has been brilliant all season. 11 goals conceded, yeah. I mean, Botman and Cher at the back are rock solid. Dan Burn, if Dan Burn gets involved, right, he'll mix in as well. He's so underrated, this guy, because he only cost 13 million quid. And I tell you something, he's a local lad from Blythe, which is 50 mile away north of Newcastle. That guy has absolutely been brilliant. When he played the left back, I was a bit sceptical, but at the end of the day, he's done a magnificent job. The only weak link we've got in the Newcastle team is Sean Longstaff. Yeah, he graphs, but when he just passed the ball sideways and backwards, and when they're shooting on Saturday against Leeds in the second half, my God, I was cringing. Yeah, that was poor. Yeah. If he plays, we got a problem.
That's it.
Before we go into GunnerKing, I know Cannons is going to have to go because he's got dinner. I'm pretty sure I can hear carrots being grated in the background, so I'm pretty sure his dinner's not far away. I just want Cannons. I just want Cannons to give me his prediction so I can write it down.
I'm cracking the whip back there.
I just want your prediction before you go, mate, so I can write it down.
Oh gosh, do you know what? We score first, and I think it's a 3-1. Okay. Arsenal.
No worries. I just want to get it down there just before you go.
Yeah, I was nearly close with the Brighton one, weren't I? I was nearly close to that. I said 3-0, and then we kind of killed ourselves with that. But yeah,
how is that close to 4-2?
Well, no, listen, we were cruising at 3-0. We was cruising at 3-0, and then all of a sudden we just let them. We just made a couple of substitutions and let them back in it. So
yeah, well, I said 2-2. I knew there'd be goals, and I knew Brighton would score against us. I went 2-2, and we won 4-2. But that was a horrible last 5 minutes. I hated it. I hated the watch long. It was a nightmare. But GunnerKing, what are your expectations for tomorrow, mate?
Yeah, I mean, look, I expect it to be a tough game. And, I was saying to John before we started streaming, I know a number of Newcastle fans, one that I've known two actually, that I've known for about 15, 20 years. I've seen them go through the lows. and now they're riding the highs. And there's a lot that I like about Newcastle. You know, like the new owners come in, they could have gone for 70, 80, 90 million pound players. As John said, I didn't realize it was only 13 million they paid for Dan Burn. And listen, like I've been arguing with United fans, you know, that seem to think Martinez is anywhere near a conversation involving Saliba. But I will concede that if there is one centre back that has been as good, in my opinion, as Saliba this season, it is definitely the new centre back that these guys bought. You know, so yeah, I think yeah, like Botman's been amazing at the back. He's been an absolute rock, and I think
from Lens,
you know,
didn't he? 'Cause I think there was
yeah,
him and Jonathan David were their two prize assets basically.
yeah, and I think that's the one concession I will make. You know, if only, if any. You know, I think these are the two best centre backs the Premier League has seen this season so far. But you know, the Ramirez, the one that got away, he's been very good. And you know, Almiron, I like a remontada. You know, I like a good comeback story, and I think I've always said about Almiron, you know, like his approach play has been really good. Always, like for anyone that's watched Newcastle, he's always had that approach play in his game. It's just the final pass or the shot, the execution of those two things that has let him down, and now those things aren't letting him down anymore. You know, he's their version of Xhaka. You know, like I see a lot of parallels between how they're building, because we haven't gone out and bought 90, 100 million pound players to be where we are either. We've bought players and developed them, you know, and Newcastle doing the same thing. So there's that respect there that I have for Newcastle, even though, you know, them defeating us took away our chances of top four last season. I still like have a bit of a soft spot towards them. And I think they're building in the right way. You know, like they're trying to build organically. They've got a great fan base. You know, St James's Park is one of the best places to go in England to watch football. It's a historic ground, you know, with a lot of history in it. You know, when I was a kid, I was growing up, the likes of Asprilla, you know, the likes of Alan Shearer, you know, the likes of Ginola, Beardsley, all these guys I grew up watching. And Newcastle have always deserved to be where they are now. And, you know, I've been one of the few fans that believes that they will stay in the top four this season. I think based on the recruitment they've done so far, they'll go out and get 2 or 3 players, I think, in January that will help them sustain that charge. And I wish them all the best for the rest of the season. However, there is a case, you know, of what that game meant last season and what it meant for us. And, you know, I think for us to show our own progression, you know, to show that we are taking the next step. You know, we lost against Palace last season. We beat them. We lost against Brighton. We beat them. You know, we lost against Southampton. Okay, we got a draw there. You know, we picked up results against Liverpool. You know, we picked up a result against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. I'm looking for us to progress. It's been 17 years since I've seen a league title being won at this club. And I you know, Newcastle just, unfortunately, as much as I like them and I respect them, they're in the way tomorrow. You know, like, so the respect's going to go for 90 minutes. We have to win. We have to win this game. We just have to. You know, like, we've got a 100% win record at home, and I hope, and there is an element of me that does expect we will, without disrespecting the threat that Newcastle pose, just from how we've been at home. You know, like, we've just been unplayable at home. You know, we've been getting the ball and playing, you know, the best football in the Premier League, in my opinion, this season. And, you know, I think, you know, if we play our game and we take the game to Newcastle early on, as we did against Brighton, scored very early, I think that's what we need to do again. You know, we need, it's going to be very difficult to do, because Newcastle have got a top defence, top manager, top fan base. Their away fans always come and bring the noise as well, so that there will be that imposing element from the away fan base as well. But we have to do this. You know, like, this is our time. You know, like, we've got a great opportunity to see out what we've started here, and I have to remove sentiment out of the equation. We need 3 points tomorrow, And I will be disappointed if we are unable to get those points, given the position that we've put ourselves in and how we've been playing as well.
Yeah. Before I show something that's going to be quite painful for John regarding the last 10 home fixtures in the Premier League. It's going to be painful for G, John. I will warn you. I just want to get into some comments because they've all been building up. I do appreciate everyone, though. Big up to Nippon. Big up to Jason. Afternoon. Anyone else enjoying the meltdown across London from Spurs and Chelsea? Yes. Yeah. Even Nippon's going away, the lads. Big up to Guna Gathering. It's good to have you here, though, John. Honestly, it's just
thank you, man.
Awesome. But it was just interesting to have like a Newcastle perspective, really. The last time I did the Wolves because I actually live in Wolverhampton, so I actually wanted a Wolves fan perspective on the Arsenal Wolves game. So it was nice to have someone from the opposition, really. Big up to AFC Max. All just talking to each other. Trippier about to be exposed, says AFC.
Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. Okay, I mean, it can be sometimes, but honestly, I think it's
going to be a great battle.
No free kicks around the box. That's all.
Yeah, it's going to be a top battle between Martinelli and Trippier. You know, like one of the most informed right backs versus probably the most informed left winger. You know, so yeah. Top match.
That is classic.
Big up to my FTSN brother, saying an easy game for you, as it seems. 4-0 to. I have written that down, Cole. 4-0 to Arsenal.
Don't see it being that.
No, I don't either. Even
if it was on the Steve Boost, then it'd be definitely 4-0.
Yeah, it might be.
This is.
I think Cole's trying a bit of kind of like, you know, if he says that Arsenal will smash it, then you know the reverse psychology thing. If he says that Arsenal smash it, you know, he wants Newcastle to win, obviously.
Trying to reverse juju, man.
Yeah. Even Luke is questioning. He reckons Tony's hacked the account.
I don't think we'll win by more than 1 goal or 2 goals. I think it will be a close affair,
Yeah.
Don't see it being more than that.
Munzie, big up to Munzie doing what Munzie always does, being a United fan. He's never going to say, come up, Arsenal. You know, it is what it is. Oh dear.
I think, you know, the game is one of those ones that, okay, do you know what? Sometimes you can't win a game, even if you're at home, but you don't lose. Make sure you don't lose.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's one of those. Yeah. It's one of those. At the very least, I think that's what we got to do.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just writing down another prediction that's coming. So Cole's saying here, Newcastle need to play smart. Odegaard is pulling the strings for you lads in the middle of the park. If they can keep him quiet and not lose focus on Saka and Martinelli, it will be an interesting game. So what's your response to that, John?
Well, okay. We've got to have to, because what I'd like to see Longstaff drop, bring Joe Linton back into the midfield and bring ASM on the left side. And then Joe Linton, well, I'll tell you what, he'll find players like Odegaard and they'll probably sort of mute as well. Bruno can dish it out a bit as well if he needs to be. Joe Willock, he used to play for you guys. I mean, he's done all right this season. He's back to his best as well. He was unlucky on Saturday. He got substituted. But at the end of the day, look, I mean, that's what I like to see. I do not want to see Sean Longstaff in that midfield. Because you know why? Because he's going to get overrun by the players like Odegaard and Partey and Xhaka as well. I mean, Sean Longstaff's no match for them. I mean, look, I like Sean Longstaff. I really, really do. Is going to win us a title? No. Is he going to get us in the top 4 position? Never. But at the end of the day, right, if he's in, I'm going to have to back him. But I watched him on Saturday and his shooting is terrible. And he's a liability at times as well. So I can't lie, people. I can't lie.
Isn't Sean Longstaff the one that Man United wanted to pay like 50 million quid for?
Yeah. I would have taken it. I would have took that 50 million quid. Real talk. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm amazed that Rafa Benitez didn't accept that deal at the time. But I would have just got rid for 50 mil and then getting a quality midfield in as well. Because I think it was after this lad at the time from Porto, Herrera. Now he's at Atletico Madrid. And I think he wanted to come to Newcastle under Rafa, but Sean didn't want to leave. And he signed this. I think he didn't want to move. He wanted to stop at Newcastle. But listen, at the end of the day, one thing I'm going to say, right? I mean, I'm going to continue back the guy. He signed a 3-year deal. And I love him as a squad player, but not as a first teamer, in my opinion. I a team that's going to win us titles in the future, a team that's going to get us into top 4 and battle for Europe and compete. Yeah. We don't need a Sean Longstaff slap playing 6 defenders at times, you know what I mean? We've got a fantastic back 4. If your back 4 doesn't concede goals, right, then it doesn't matter who you put in the midfield, even if you attack, because our defense is defend properly. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be interesting, but I think Newcastle's got a plan tomorrow, and I think we'll defend well tomorrow.
Do you know what really kind of scares me? Sorry, Bobby.
No.
You know what really scares me about Newcastle, right, is the fact they are way ahead of Man City, you know, in terms of transition. You know, when they got the new money and everything. You guys are streets ahead of Man City. And it's kind of a little bit scary, really, in terms of what your club can actually do. Listen, I actually thought Eddie Howe wasn't a great appointment for you lot, but he's proven me wrong, this guy. Seriously, he's actually, I actually didn't think he was all that in terms of, you know, his tactical awareness, blah, 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 and all that. But listen, this guy is doing bits right now. And I have to just tip my hat to them right now. And
Thank you.
In terms of their transition,
Sorry, Carlos.
So no, I was just saying, I was just going to reiterate in terms of transition of Man City, and you know, Man City got that money, and you guys haven't even spent that much, like a crazy amount, and that's scary, right?
One, we spent 130 million, I think you spent 35 on Botman, 63 on Isak, who is out injured at the minute. I mean, the sooner he comes back in, the better. He can make a difference for us as well. Because you was linked to him as well, by the way. But he got
would have taken it.
I wanted him. The Canners will tell you about when we were talking about strikers. You know, like I was
this time last year,
non-stop. Yeah, because he had a season on loan at Odegaard had a season on loan at Sociedad, and he played with Isak. And like those two had this really amazing chemistry when they played together. Like I think like Isak got the most goals in a season at Sociedad when he was with Odegaard, and Odegaard got a shed load of goals with assists as well. I'll send you the videos that I've got of the footage of them playing together. Like all this beautiful one-touch passing that they were doing together. Like really nice. But the other thing as well, Wenger actually wanted Eddie Howe as his replacement, as his successor. Like he spoke about this. It's documented. There's the interviews there where he said it. Like, you know, so I've always known that Howe's a good manager. And the other thing as well, with financial fair play as well, and what we were saying about Newcastle's transition and not buying 70, 80 million. Okay, Isak was one. They've been doing this well this season without St. Maximin and Isak for a large portion of the 16 games that they've played. So what's happening when they're coming back? The rest of the league needs to be worried. And two, in terms of like, there's this Twitter account, a guy, Swiss Ramble. He's like a proper financial expert, and he looked at the FFP ramifications because Mike Ashley has spent so little, you know, owner investment wise at Newcastle prior to their takeover. They're the 200 million bracket that they can spend over the next 3 years can go up to 600 million. Plus, they're going to get more sponsorship deals. You know, they're going to get more TV and prize money as they finish higher up in the table. So that variable figure might go up as well. So they are literally here to stay, bro. Like there's not going to be like with City and Chelsea, you did see like dip peaks and troughs. But I think with Newcastle, you will just see a steady upward trajectory that won't peter off with the right investment, you know, like, and what they're doing is they're doing smart things, you know, like 30 to 50 million pounds where the risk is there, but it's not like a huge risk.
It's not a crazy risk. I mean, you know what? I mean, in today's money, 30 million is probably about, it's a decent amount, but it's not a crazy amount.
It's not.
And if you can pick up a couple of those players and everything, for that kind of money, and that's what Newcastle do.
It's sustainable what they're building, and it's organic, and it's based on, from what I can see, it's based on, you know, they are trying to tap teams. I remember watching that City and Newcastle game was one of the best games I've watched this season. Newcastle literally said, "What champions? You man are champions, all right." Let's see what you champions are made of. And they stuck it on them. And to be honest, City were very fortunate to get a point in that game. They were very fortunate. And I know City fans, and they were like, that was one of the toughest games we played this season. Fact, so. Listen, these men they're doing great, fantastic things, man. It's great for the Premier League.
I tell you what, ASM that day, took Kyle Walker apart that day.
Absolutely tore him a new one, bro.
Every single
biblical, bro. Every time Walker got the ball, he was just like, "No, I don't know what to do. If I back off on him, he's gonna run at me. But if I try and get on his first touch, he's just gonna take it round me, bro." He just looked like a fish out of water, bro. The worst I've seen Walker made to look by an individual performance in a very long time. And Ben White better be on his toes, bro. Because if he's playing tomorrow...
Yeah.
Well,
I
there we go.
reckon Tom Yasu against him, to be fair. If
I don't think ASM is going to play tomorrow. I think it'd be sub because I think they're going to stick with Joe Linton on the left-hand side of midfield three. So my three is going to be Joe Linton, Iggy Amaron, and I hope Callum Wilson comes back in on Tuesday. I really do, because we need to have a go, because that's my front three tomorrow. You know what I mean? I love to see ASM. But ASM comes back in, Joe Linton will have to be in midfield and drops your long staff.
Yeah. Right, so this is the painful bit for you, John. Do apologise. Last 10 fixtures. The last time Newcastle beat us at the Emirates was 2010. And since then, it's been 10 wins out of 10. Do apologise, but it's just the information that I had to type up.
Man.
I do apologise.
Last time, it just kind of scored goals at the Emirates for the last, 6 games? That's embarrassing. But then again, I could back up there as well. I mean, Steve Bruce, too defensive, right? That's why he gets beat. Rafa Benitez as well. Well, we couldn't win there as well, unfortunately. You know what I mean? But the one thing I'm going to say, this is a different Newcastle United team. We will give it a go tomorrow, and we're going to try and stick it on, trying to take it to Arsenal if we can. Do you know what I mean? Because we're not scared. I'm going to say it now, right? We are not scared of anyone anymore. We are not scared of the Big Six anymore. Yeah, we are coming. And that's, I don't want to say in a ignorant way. That's not me, but we are coming, and we're like an elephant now, and we're going to break into the top 6. Do you know what I mean? We beat Chelsea already. We beat Tottenham as well. Picked a point against two Manchester clubs. Yeah, we've only lost to Liverpool, and that we should never ever have lost to.
This is why I respect Newcastle as well, because I have that same feeling. Like all these parallels that I talk about, with how they're building. Yeah, with the players that they're targeting, with the youth development, with a young manager, I look at this table at the moment, the way that we're playing, and I have that same sense of fearlessness. And I feel that Newcastle and Arsenal are where they are because they are playing with that fearlessness. Like they're going up against, like what you just said. This was the same record that we had against Liverpool. We hadn't even scored against them in 6 games, let alone beating them. Yeah, so that Liverpool game showed that when you are a resurgent team, when you are a team that is in the ascendancy, the previous 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 games, the fact you hadn't scored a goal, we scored a goal with our very first shot on target in that game at the Emirates. So we literally just took a piss on that record of not scoring against them. So I feel like Newcastle have the same. Like you as you said, Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool were fortunate, City were fortunate. You've got the power, you've got the capacity to make that record there not matter. I'm not looking at the last 10 games and thinking, oh yeah, well, we always do well at Newcastle, because this is a different case. Do you know what I mean? This is a team that isn't the same team that it was the last time we played them at home. And the last time we played you at St. James's Park, you beat us. So, Newcastle have to be taken very seriously. And I feel like people don't take them seriously in the same way they don't take Arsenal being at the top of the table seriously. That's where that respect also comes from. And I've been saying for a long time that Newcastle are where they are because they deserve to be. Like the least goals conceded, the most amount of clean sheets, 9 clean sheets. We're the closest with 7. So, big teams like City, you know, that spent $500 million on their defense can't say the same. Put some respect on their name, bro. Like that record don't mean a thing tomorrow. I'll tell you that for nothing. It don't mean a thing. Nothing at all.
True. Very true.
True. Before we go into our teams, just want to say bye to Canners because I know Canners has got to go. His carrots are now ready to eat.
I'm fuming, but yeah, listen. Carry on. John, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. And do you know what? I want to wish you luck, but obviously not tomorrow, and obviously the return.
Man.
Yeah. Any other team, especially when you play Man City, yeah, absolutely.
But what I'm going to say to you, Callum, mate, just before you go on, no, we haven't won the title since 1927.
But you can have a massive say in it. You can have a massive say in it.
Yeah,
so,
but still have more titles than Tottenham. They do.
Yeah.
They do. Trust me.
Oh, we beat Tottenham. We didn't.
Bobby, thank you very much. King, as always, bro. And John, absolute pleasure, bro. Have a good one.
Thank you very much indeed,
Take care, Canners, mate.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. What should we do, mate?
Bye-bye.
Big up, Canners, man.
Big up, mate.
Right. One thing that John did say was about the top six and the big six. I still call it the big five because I don't class the team down the road as one of, the thing with me is about this top six, you have to win something to be part of that top six. They haven't won nothing, so they don't exist to me. I watched their game yesterday. Oh my God, they were awful yesterday. But we don't want to talk about that team. I've got to talk about that team next week. I will wait for that. But this is the team that pretty much over 20 people, 20 Arsenal fans, because what I do, John, is I go around and ask everyone there for their lineups and what they would select. And this over 20 people picked it for this team for tomorrow. GunnerKing, I can't remember which one you went for. I think, did you go for this one or did you go for Tierney?
I didn't actually give you a team, but that would have been the team. That would have been the team I would have given an unchanged lineup from the last game. Yeah. So potentially, is there scope to bring Tierney in? Again, dependent on, Almiron might be better to play Tierney. Defensively, Almiron, for me, obviously Zinchenko gives you greater control with the way that he inverts into our midfield and helps us build up play. But Almiron getting on the other side of Zinchenko compared to Almiron getting on the other side of Tierney, I know where my confidence would lie in a defensive sense. It would definitely be with playing Tierney. But other than that, I think that's pretty much what I'd go with.
Yeah. The two Bobbies, which is me, John, and then we've also got a Bobby Brown that also does content on here. So I'll just call it the two Bobbies. I've actually gone for Tierney because what you've just said, exactly what I was thinking. Defensively, I think he needs to be more sound. So I went for Tierney. Now, out of those two lineups, John, which one would you prefer to play against?
For me, Zinchenko's been quality this season. And he, to be fair, started so well. But he gets a little bit of injuries as well, which is a shame. Tierney is also injury prone as well. For me personally, I would have gone for that one as well. Go with Tierney facing him as well. Because obviously Kieran hasn't played much games for you guys this season. But to me personally, it doesn't really matter because you're not scared of anyone anymore. I really don't. But for me, I would have gone for that team. And Nketiah up front, well, he's going to find out what it's like playing against Sven Botman. Sven Botman would love playing against this guy because, look, Nketiah, I want him to do well for you guys. He's getting a lot of stick, which is quite unfair. But is he going to win you a title? Well, you're going to win a title this season, I think, by the way, no matter what. But for me personally, you need a world-class striker in the summer. You really do. If you win the league, that's fine. But in the Champions League, you need a world-class striker. You know what I mean? And whether Nketiah is going to be the guy for you guys, I'm not so sure. But at the end of the day, I would play your team, Bobby, 100%.
Okay. Now, I did one different lineup, only because, and you know this about this GunnerKing, is Saliba and Saka are one yellow card away from a suspension. And it doesn't roll into the FA Cup now. It rolls into the Premier League. And we know who's next. It's Tottenham. So I've gone for maybe just a slight change. Just in, I know you wouldn't. I wouldn't drop them either. But you know me, I always like to think of a different idea. So I know if Tony's watching, he probably isn't because he's got a bad ear. But if Tony's watching, he's going to shoot me for not choosing Holding. But for me, it's Tomiyasu. I just don't. I think when John was talking about Longstaff being in the Newcastle squad and saying it's time to move on and blah, 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 that's my Holding. It's time to move on from him now. He's been here long enough. I'm very thankful for what he's given us, but see you later now. And obviously, if we're going to rest Saka so he doesn't get a yellow card, because he got a very silly yellow card on Saturday, if I remember correctly as well. It was just very silly, which I don't see. If quickly, King, if Saka and Saliba got a booking tomorrow, would you be worried about the Tottenham game a bit more?
Nope.
No.
Newcastle.
I thought I'd ask.
Yeah. This is going to be really fun into it. Let's be good. Yeah. Newcastle went to White Lane, and Newcastle didn't just beat Tottenham by soaking up the ball and hitting them on the counter. Newcastle took the game to them. Aston Villa defended well in the first half, scored 2, defended well. Teams have been going there. Liverpool went there, stuck it on them. The thing about the way Tottenham play at the moment is they invite pressure onto themselves. Yeah, they sit deep and they try and hit teams quickly on the counter. And I think that ever since the United game, and we've grown stronger at being able to deal with transitions on the counter. I think in that United game, we didn't have Thomas Partey, and that was a big part of why we weren't able to deal with teams on the counter. I firmly believe that Tottenham, there's too little time for them to change the way that they are playing. And Conte is a very stubborn manager. I don't think he's going to set them up to try and attack us. Whereas Newcastle will come to the Emirates to try and do us something. Tottenham came to the Emirates to try and get a draw, and if they could, nick a win. Newcastle will come to the Emirates tomorrow, and they will try and stick it on us. So we need our best team. We need our best team to play the better team. And at the moment, the table does not lie. Newcastle are the better team than Tottenham, and it's not close. It's not close. Defensively, they've scored more goals, I believe, than Tottenham as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, you respect the stronger opponent, and Tottenham aren't that. They're not that guy. I don't care about. I know we haven't won at White Hart Lane in a long time. For me, that's going to change this season, and it's because what it's down to is they don't even believe themselves that they can attack the better teams. They've taken 1 point from the Big Six, and if you include Newcastle as a 7, they haven't taken points from them either, and take points from Aston Villa at home. Why should we not play our best team against a team that will pose us more of a threat? So I would rather roll the dices in the Tottenham game. Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
One thing I'm going to say is, you mentioned Tottenham. We played Tottenham right Hart Lane last month or just a month ago, right? And I was so comfortable with that game. We won by 2 goals to 1, right? Our 4 Spurs were poor. Eric Dyer, come on. He's terrible, man. Davinson Sanchez, come on. He's even worse. Yeah? I mean, I'll tell you something, right? I mean, when we got those goals, right, Callum Wilson and me, that was game over. Spurs weren't going to come back from that. Even when Harry Kane got a goal back, I still felt confident was going to win the game.
Yeah. Has anyone noticed that no one knows the name of the Tottenham Stadium? Because, John, you said White Hart Lane. And I noticed when I watched the Tottenham game yesterday, the commentator, and I'm not even joking about this, he couldn't remember the name of the Tottenham Stadium. Does anyone know what the name of it is?
I've no idea. As far as I'm concerned,
I don't know what it's called.
Tottenham to TH Stadium. Do you know what I mean?
Is that
surely
what it is?
Trying to get a name. It should be. If I'm honest with you, I'm not fussing either, sort of thing. You know what I mean? I think Conte will be gone. I think Conte will be gone at the end of the season, if not before, if it doesn't get them in the top 4. But I tell you something now, right? I mean, we're going to finish above them this season. I just think the Spurs team is poor.
I've said it genuinely. I think 3rd spot at the moment is where I see Newcastle finishing. No lower than fourth, but I think third or fourth here between those two spots. I think, United are starting to find form, but then I'm hearing that they might only have money available to make loans based on how much they spent in the summer. I think Newcastle will get one or two additions like Tottenham did to us last season. Those one or two additions that Tottenham got in Kulusevski and Bentancur, that really allowed them to push on towards the end of the season. And I think looking at Liverpool strengthening, Man United, I think third and fourth will be a fight between those four teams. But I think United are seriously running the gauntlet. And if they leave it down to chance of their squad and maybe just one loan signing, and Newcastle go out and get 2 or 3 more players, and then they get St. Maximin coming back from fitness, and Isak, who, as I said, and will say again, they've got this far 16 games without those playing for like 9 or 10 at least of them, or from what I can remember off my memory. I think it might have even been more that they were injured for. So a couple of players and those 2 coming back, this league's in trouble, bro. Like I don't see Newcastle dropping out of those top 4 at all. And obviously a bit of it's wishful thinking on my part, because I'd love to see Tottenham and Chelsea or United or someone like that, suffer at their expense. But I'm basing it on logic, like reason here. Do you know what I mean? On what I've seen from Newcastle and the other teams so far this season.
Yeah. This comment I know is aimed at me. This is Tony, the one I said about holding. So this is definitely aimed at me. Do apologise, Tony. He's not that deaf. I never said you were deaf. I just said you've got ear problems. So Colm saying play holding up front. No. Spurs struggle against the poor, looking United so against the well-oiled Arsenal, nothing to worry about. It's a game, you just never know, do you? Cheers for that. Big up to Steve. Thought it was called the. Right, okay. I should have read that comment before I read it. It's the way we didn't win trophies at the stadium. Romero ain't that great either. He's got a really bad attitude problem, isn't he? Because that guy could have got sent off at the weekend as well. I don't know if you saw when, because he could have got his second yellow for a really hard shove, but luckily the ball would have gone out of play for a throw-in. But if it hadn't, he would have been sent off. I like this Newcastle John. His analysis is spot on.
I'll tell you what it is, right? It should be Eric diabolical. I've seen a few comments as well. Because he's exactly that. He's poor him, man. Come on.
Wilson actually tore him a new one, bro.
He did in that game. And if he faces him again and we're in the top 4, he'll do exactly the same thing again. Because we've got a better team than Spurs. I mean, Bentancur, that's a guy I rate. I rate Bentancur. I like him as well. But he's too good for Tottenham.
Right, before I do love that, Steve. The Spurs Stadium is where football goes to die slowly and painfully. Big up to Steve. Hope you're doing well, mate. Right, this is the time for John now, but I've just got to do the intro. GunnerKing, you've got a night off for this now. It's going to be down to John to pick the 5. Okay, so what we always do, John, with all the Arsenal fans that we have on, they always pick 5 from the opposition and 6 from the Arsenal, and we try and form a very good 11. And obviously, because you're a Newcastle fan, you can have all 5 selections for Newcastle because it's only fair. So who would you say is your top 5 performers in the Newcastle squad?
For me, I'm going to have to go with Nick Pope, because his distribution is absolutely fantastic. And, the way he's made some cracking saves this season as well, by the way. And he's a part of the back 5 with the front 4 in front of him. that's why we've got clean sheets as well. So I'll definitely play Nick Pope in goal, 100%.
Yeah, couldn't disagree with you there. Next one, mate.
I'm going to go with Sven Botman at the back. We know what he's all about. He is so brilliant at the back. He's quick, he's defends, he's got a footballing brain, and he times his chances to perfection. That guy, he's a rock at the back. He's a Rolls Royce at the back. For 35 million quid was an absolute bargain. When you think of players like Harry Maguire, cost 80 million quid, and he's poor.
Yeah, this job. Saliba and Botman cost less than Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. But you've got to stop at the right place. This is another thing. This as well. You buy British players, they're going to be expensive because they're English. That's the problem. You go abroad, that pound per pound is a fantastic signing.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Next player, mate.
I'm going to go with Bruno Guimaraes. He has had an outstanding season again, and scoring goals. His passing ability is fantastic. He ran 50 yards to play 1-2 with Miguel Almiron against Leicester, and I tell you something, right? The finishing, the defense for Leicester was very, very poor, but I tell you something, he finished it well. He had to finish it well, and he did.
Exactly. Obviously, this is going to be hard for us to see him in with the Arsenal players because this should have something we should have done last summer. But never mind. So your fourth player, mate.
I'm going to go with Kieran Trippier. I have to go with him because he's a leader at the back and he's a talker as well. And I tell you what, as well, he's had an outstanding season. He wasn't good on Saturday, I can't lie, but he's all his poorest games. But I expect Kieran Trippier to come back bigger and better, but he knows his opinions. His performance wasn't great.
Okay, your final player for Newcastle?
Star man this season, Miguel Almiron, 100% him. 9 goals this season, scores some cracking goals, taking on players, playing with confidence, playing with a big smile on his face. And I tell you what, that's all down to Eddie Howe and his training and his coaching. And big up to Miguel Almiron. Big up to him.
Yeah. I think you signed him from Atlanta, didn't you?
Atlanta United and MLS. A lot of people say Atalanta is in Italy, and I watched Serie A. So,
yeah, because they're one of my American teams that I support, and I was pretty sure you got him from our team. So I was like, oh yeah, right. Yeah. GunnerKing, it's time to put the Arsenal in. Right, I'm guessing we're going with Saliba at the back.
100%, and I'm telling you, this defense, no one would get past it, bro. Saliba at right back. Are you doing them, or should I do?
Yeah, you do them all, mate. So who do you want at left back?
Left back, I'm going to go with Zinchenko. I think there's enough defensive security in the centre backs there to go with Zinchenko. Partey.
Yeah, I've already typed it in because I had a feeling that would be bad.
I'm going to go with Odegaard with Guimaraes.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I think that 3 would have been amazing. That one that got away, bro. That one that got away, because I'm just looking at that midfield now, and that would just we'd be untouchable.
I told you I knew this would be painful. Don't forget we can pick Jesus because it doesn't matter about injured players. So we're going for Jesus.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Martinelli and Jesus.
Yeah, I thought so. Right. So once I've got Martinelli in, don't do this to me. Team, isn't it? There we go. Right. Okay, so we've got, thanks to John, we've got Nick Pope in goal, Trippier, Saliba, Botman, Zinchenko, Partey, Guimaraes, Odegaard, Almiron, Jesus, and Martinelli. Oh, geez. That is a very good team.
That would
no
be
denying it.
Something else. Honestly, like
championship winning side, that.
That is, yeah, man.
But the thing is, right, how much did Nick Pope cost?
He only cost 10 million quid. 10 million quid.
How much was Trippier?
Trippier cost 12 mil.
So we're on 22. Botman, that's 57. Guimaraes.
30. Well, someone's saying 36, someone's saying 40, but I was saying 36.
So 93. And Almiron
cost 22.
The thing is, look, you'll look at it like this, yeah. Klopp did a double, he nearly did a quad. You know, Pep won the league. you'll look at it like that and say they won the trophy, so they were the best managers. But when you're looking at how little these guys spent on the players that they bought and how transformative that has been, like taking Newcastle from fighting relegation to, being in a top 4 straight title challenge, and taking Arsenal from that next step from, just missing out on 4th to pushing for a title. There's a shout there that these are the 2 best managers from the last calendar year, in my opinion. When you look at it like that, Klopp and Pep, I'm not taking away what they did. But what they did was ultimately was what was expected of them given their quality, whereas these guys, they have dramatically improved the fortunes of their teams with very shrewd investment. My hat goes off to both Arteta and Eddie Howe for the calendar year they've had, to be honest. Both of them.
Yeah, exactly. Carry on, John. Sorry.
And the thing I was going to say as well, I'll get a lot of people, especially on my channel, and saying that if Newcastle finished at 7th and got the Europa Super Conference, Europa Conference League, they'd be over the moon with that. For me personally, I would finish as high as I can because we're third at the minute, right? If we got to the last game of the season and we're in the Champions League and we lost that game and we dropped out and qualified for Europa League, me personally, Newcastle fans will still be bigging them up, sort of thing, getting us fit. For me, I'll be a slight disappointment because we didn't get in the top 4 Champions League because I want to be there. And I've asked me co-host as well. Tony is all black and white TV. He said that, are we ready for the Champions League? And I said, a lot of people would probably say no, but we are where we are. You know what I mean? All you have to do, if you think the squad's not good enough, what we've got now, spend some more money. Getting 3 or 4 quality players is going to keep us in that Champions League and give it a right go. I don't want to be in the Champions League and get bullied or the next 6 games in the Champions League. So for me personally, I want to get top 4 this season. It keeps players like Bruno, Botman, because in future years, they want to be playing the Champions League, hopefully with us. If we don't get in Champions League next couple of seasons, they're going to be thinking, do you know what? Our joining is going to be a project. I would play for a club that plays Champions League football. So hopefully getting that top 4 this season.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Newcastle are in the financial position where even if you did get Champions League, you can strengthen very easily. It's not like a Leicester or let's think of someone else. A Brighton. Brighton would struggle financially to improve on their squad. But Newcastle have got the ability. They've got the finance there already. There's it's easy. It's so easy. I just want to quickly go into some comments. Does anyone want Maguire for 80p? No? Okay. No.
They couldn't pay us to take Maguire, man. They couldn't pay us.
No. It's just mad. Steve went for Pope, Almiron, and Bruno. I don't think he went for any further players. No, he just went for the 3. Tony went for Pope, Trippier, Botman, Almiron, and Craig David. I don't know what the Craig David thing is.
Probably
looks like probably Isak. I think he's on Isak.
I know who Craig David is, but I'm like, what's he on about Newcastle for? Right, big up to Amondi. Hope you're doing well, mate.
Amondi.
James Patterson, Arsenal. I'm not saying it because I know I'll get clipped. If I say it, I'll get clipped and saying that. I'm not saying it until March. Simple as that. I've told everyone.
Keep the faith.
I keep the faith, but I'm not saying anything till March. No, just not happening. If Howe does lead Newcastle to the Premier League title, because Newcastle still got the chance. This is the thing. You can't just keep saying it's us. Newcastle are still there and playing well enough to say, they've got a chance.
Well,
exactly.
Like that, so.
I tell you what, Maurice would love to win the Premier League in Newcastle. He'll love to do it. And I'll tell you something now, right? If he does, I tell you what, his name will be on the Geordie folklore, I'm telling you. And he have a statue built next to his name because that guy is so important to us. He is well loved at Newcastle. Well loved. We love him. We got a song for him, that Arteta song. You got Super Mika Teta. We got Boone in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing that as well.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
So Tony was saying that Craig David is Callum Wilson.
Oh,
he looks
right.
like him. Does he?
I'm not sure.
I think Isak's got more quality, man. I think we're going to see, like, towards the end of the season when Isak's fit, he's got more. I've watched him very closely, like, because I really wanted him at Arsenal, like, and he was flirting with the idea a lot as well. So I think I like Callum Wilson, but I think when Isak's back, Almira, the form he's in at the moment, we're going to see it, man.
Amondi's doing his typical pop at us here. England's #1 over Ben Shite. Mind how you talk about Harry. I'm sure GunnerKing's going to enjoy talking to Amondi at some point before the Man United game.
He's been honing in on the mistakes that Saliba made. And listen, I want to talk about that as well, yeah. What people need to understand is no competitive football for 6 weeks, bar the 27 minutes he played against Tunisia. Obviously, he's come back without that second of match fitness and his sharpness. So he's got to work on that. But I'll maintain, Amondi, that Saliba and Botman have been better than any Man United centre-back this season.
Well, yeah.
Chew on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do without what you will, bro. These are the facts. Do you know what I mean?
King choosing Newcastle players: Pope, Botman, Bruno, Wilson, Almiron. Amondi saying, yep, Eddie returns in honour of Don Howe, obviously his dad. So do Arsenal need to worry about the fact Newcastle have just drawn against Newcastle? Now they want to show they haven't dropped off and are still challenging.
We should have won that game by 4 or 5, but the finish was poor. I mean, Meslier had a lead score, made a decent, well, it's decent against Wood, but Wood should have just buried that. He should have done that in the second half. That's a bad, poor miss. Should have scored in the first time round of the keeper, and he just couldn't square that ball in, sort of thing. But the second half, he should have scored that goal. No question about that. Had that been Callum Wilson, we would do 1-0 Newcastle.
No, there you go. Right, we will get into predictions. So, chat, if you've got any predictions, shove them in the chat, and I'll write them down. I've just seen Amondi again. GunnerKing claims Saliba is the best centre back in the league.
Correction. I claim that he was the best centre back so far this season in the league. But this guy loves trying to twist my words to make me look like an idiot when really he's the idiot. You know what I mean? Like, so let's be clear. This season alone, Saliba and Botman have been the 2 best Premier League centre backs. If you want to name me a centre back that's been better than these 2, let me know. His name is not Martinez, and his name is not Varane. His name is someone that does not exist. These are the best centre backs in the league this season. Yeah, argue with your fridge. Yeah, fact.
I'll put Botman there as well, no doubt about it. A lot of people not watch this guy, but I think Botman's been outstanding this season. He really has. You ask any Newcastle fan, right? He defends well. He's at the right place at the right time, and that gets past him. When there's a loose ball, he gets there as well. And I'll tell you something, I think Enkete's going to have a tough time tomorrow. I really do. But then again, you got goals over the shop like Martinelli, Saka as well. So it'll be a good game.
Look, AFC Max has got a question for you here. Ben White or Trippier for England right back?
Trippier all day long. A, he's got experience. B, he's a champion as Atletico Madrid, right? And he's been in England for a long time. He's been playing well this season. Yeah, he had a poor game Saturday, but let's not tell everyone to wait. You can have poor games every now and again, but seeing that, Trippier all day long for me. Ben White's getting better. I get it, but Trippier.
Yeah, Trippier's is he 31?
32.
32. Oh, there you go. So Ben White's still young. So Trippier can have it for now, and then Ben White will have it. So
how much did it cost you anyway, Ben White? 50 mil, am I right?
50 million, yeah.
Is he worth 50 mil though?
He's turning into a very, very good right back for me, like world class top.
I would say we had, like, in terms of clean sheets last season, we had the 5th most amount of clean sheets when he played with Gabriel. He played very well as a centre back last season, and then now he's playing very well as a right back. I think what you got to factor in with his valuation is his age. He's only just turned 25, so he's got his best years ahead of him. And you know, you're talking about someone that can be competent across the back. You know, playing as a right back, or as a centre back for the next 4 or 5 years, 10 years, depending on how long we keep him for. Also at Leeds under Bielsa, he played in central midfield as a CDM as well. So this is a guy that can play in a number of positions, who is not near his peak yet, who has proved himself at centre back and right back. So yeah, I think he's good for it. You know, like I think when you consider, you know, okay, you paid 35 for Botman. When you consider how much was paid for the likes of Maguire, you know, when you consider how much was paid for Fofana, who went to Chelsea, Koulibaly, more was paid for him. Which one of those has been better than him? Even Varane was only 8 million less with the bonuses, and Varane is proving to be injury prone. His age, he's not going to be playing for as long as Ben White is. So, yeah, I think he's absolutely good for it, the 50 million, personally.
Yeah. Amondi's come back. Of course he is. Own goals, mistakes for Saliba. He's good, but too many mistakes. He's had a couple of off games, but he's young, so I allow it, to be honest.
It's almost like Martinez didn't get hooked at half time against Brighton. No, against Brentford, sorry, because they were 4-0 down. And it's almost like they didn't concede another 6 against Man City with him on the pitch as well. But, you know, like, as I said, I respect Martinez. He's a good player. Obviously, good players, no matter how good they are, make mistakes. So, as I said, I'll repeat it again. This season, not a single Man United centre-back has been better than Botman or Saliba this season. And our defensive records reflect that. Continue.
I will. We are close to wrapping up now.
No, deluded.
I think John might need to know some background information on this. We are sister channels with a United channel, a Tottenham channel, a Liverpool channel, and a football sport channel, which is where I'm from. So there's always a lot of chat between us all, and
which is good.
Our chat. Yeah, well, honestly, Amondi's a brilliant guy, but he does like to wind up King now and then.
His friends a little too much, though. And down there, where are they in? What, 4th? Yeah,
yeah, they are.
He should be talking to us nice because, you know, like a win against Newcastle would help him out, bro. Yeah, but no, he still wants to run up his gums with his stink agenda, bro. So let him talk, bro. Let him talk.
John, what's your prediction for tomorrow? And you can go for a Newcastle win. People have done it before. It's absolutely fine if you want to go for a Newcastle win. So what's your prediction for tomorrow?
It's going to be tight, but if we play like we did against Leicester, that first half's the best I've seen for a long time. And took it to Leicester. And look, we'll score goals, but it's going to be an exciting game. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2, okay. GunnerKing, what are you going for, mate?
I'm going to go with 2-1 to Arsenal. And I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. And I don't think it could go the other way. You know, I don't think there'll be more than a goal that separates the two teams at the end of it. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. Purely because we're at home. If this was at St James's Park, as Canna said, I'd probably optimistically be expecting a draw and expecting that we might even lose, you know, because I know what it's like to go there. But yeah, our atmosphere in the Emirates at the moment is electric, and I think that'll be the difference.
Yeah, fair enough. I have AFC Max. I have put yours down. I have put everyone else's down so far. Predictions. If there are any more in the comments, I'll write them down so I can pick you up if you get it right. No one got it right for the Brighton game, unsurprisingly. No one's going to predict 4-2. Until me tonight, I'm actually going to go for a 4-2 win to the Arsenal. I think it's going to be a very stressful game. I really do. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 4. I think part of my head was thinking 4-3, but I think we might do 4-2.
I don't see how we put 4 passes.
I didn't see how we're going to put 4 past Brighton, mate. I really did not see that happening. I'm going to go. You know when I was typing up the 10 previous fixtures, and that 7-3 just stuck in my head, and I was thinking, you know, it could be one of those games tomorrow where just all the form, all the defensive records go out the window. It's just open. We both go for it. it's the better of the tax, to be honest. And because if you've got Wood playing tomorrow, no offense, John, but if you've got Wood playing tomorrow, I think our attack is way above theirs. So I could see 4-2. I don't know. That's what I'm writing. I haven't got one.
Right, but yeah, I don't know about 4, but let's see. Let's see, man. Listen,
Colm, I did write your proper one that you did earlier of 4-0, 55-54 to Newcastle. That could be a bit of a problem for a watch along due to the fact I would never be able to watch it because I'd be typing the scorers for every 2 seconds. So I'm not going to write that one down, funny enough. And exactly what Amondi is. I was about to give John his little moments to say where you can find him and stuff, but big up to Amondi. Great show, guys. Thank you very much. Sub to John, top bloke. And Amondi's gone for 2-2 draw. But John, where can everyone find you? Say everywhere you want. I don't mind, honestly.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for having us on, and even people in the chat as well. Thanks so much for watching the show as well. And I'm on Twitch, John Sinclair TV, Facebook, John Sinclair TV, also on YouTube, and I'm on Insta. It's John Sinclair 50 on lower cases, and also if you find us on social media, which is Twitter, it's John_NUFC42, and that is my Twitter handler. And if you wish to subscribe, it's like I said, John Sinclair TV. I do the watch along, I do the preview reviews, breaking news, I do like transfer show as well, and talking about Newcastle as well. The Premier League prediction show, I've got to get Macy back on soon. And guys, if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Yeah, and I'm all the way for 4,200 subscribers, and I think I've come a long way, and numbers are going up as well. So please hit that subscribe button. And it is an honest show, and it's an honest show. We don't talk any BS at all whatsoever. We are honest, and that's my show, John Sinclair TV. Just down there.
Stuff, mate. And he has got a preview at 6:45 tonight, I think, for the Arsenal Newcastle game as well.
I've got my guest Rolly as well, Newcastle fan, and Raven as well. He's a Gunner, and also just had a DM for Lottie as well, and she's a big Arsenal fan. She's my favorite Newcastle fan. She is lovely. So please, Arsenal fans, if you're in the chat or anyone in the chat, join us at 6:45 tonight. And it promises to be a fantastic show. But Andy's going to be late. He'll probably be there after 7 o'clock. So join us for that, please.
There you go. GunnerKing, go for your list.
I've been to a few games with her as well, yeah. So, yeah, she's a good girl, yeah. But, yeah, I think, GunnerKing 14 on everything. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And obviously here on the Armoury as well is where I can be found. I want to get into Twitch soon, and that's a work in progress. But yeah, that's where I can be found.
Brilliant stuff. You'll find me here and on FTSN. I've got a watch along in 35 minutes. I'm doing the Brentford Liverpool game, and I've just realised what the time is. 35 minutes. I've got to do a watch along. But I will also be doing the Arsenal watch along tomorrow, and at the weekend I'll be doing the FA Cup games. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I'll be doing all the FA Cup games as well. Just want to thank you ever so much to GunnerKing, Canners earlier, but big up to John Sinclair for accepting my invitation to come on and do a preview with us. It's been great to have you. Big up to everybody who has been in the chat. And all I've got to say before we go, and I do apologise about this, John, but it is a case of come on, you Gunners, for tomorrow. But big up to everyone. See you later, guys. Take care.
See you later, guys. Thank you so much.